Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life. And we're back. Cell gangsters. Cell warriors. Real tough when that door is locked. A cell gangster or cell warrior, that's a person that when they get inside that cell and you're locked in your cell, that's when they want to do this. That's when they become all tough, all big and bad. But then when the doors pop, that energy ain't there. We had a saying in there, when the doors swing, you swing. Meaning, when that door swings open, you better come out swinging. When the door pops, you pop. Meaning, when they pop that door open, you better come out popping. Dudes will get behind that door and talk the toughest talk you ever heard. They'll say things to you that never in a million years would they say if you was in a half a mile of them and could chase them down. Kind of like a keyboard warrior. Like you see on the internet how dudes say things because they feel safe because they're in the comfort of their home and they're just typing away because there's really nothing you can do about it. It's kind of like what a cell gangster is. You're locked in your cell and he's locked in his cell. The difference between a keyboard warrior and a cell gangster is you're most likely going to run into the guy you're talking all that smack to while you were in prison. At some point or another, the doors are going to open. Some point or another, you're almost likely going to cross paths. And you better keep that energy. You better have that same rah, rah, rah you had when you see that man when them doors open. I've seen a lot of guys talk that talk when they were behind that door. And then them doors come open. And before the door can fully get open, somebody be in a cell whooping that ass. Today we're going to get into these cell gangsters, these cell warriors, talking behind the door, empty threats, all bark, no bite. You know I done seen it, you know I done lived it, so let's relive it. Real quick, I've told y'all we do a lot of work in a lot of bad neighborhoods. Today, I'm out pretty much in my old stomping grounds. We're off Lynn Haven, around Columbia Street. And the reason for me bringing this up is I hadn't thought of Columbia Street or the person I'm about to tell you about in a while. I had a homeboy named Quan that I met off Lynn Haven. Quan was a crack dealer, but Quan was a good dude, man. That's just how he made his money. He would do drywall work on the side, but his main source of income was selling crack. When I first showed up out Lynn Haven as a white dude, these dudes been out there forever. They don't care who you are. You know what I mean? White, black, whatever. You're going to have problems. Quan made it where I could eat out there. Quan brought me around a bunch of different dudes and was like, yo, this is my dude Jay. Introduced me. So it went from me being just a white dude living in the hood to me knowing everybody that lived out there. The purpose of me telling you about Quan and all that is Quan was actually killed on this street. I have a tattoo on my arm over here with a tombstone that says, right here, R.I.P. Quan. He was killed out here one night by two dudes. This was back when everybody was rocking the Averex jackets. Quan had on the gold Averex jacket with the black leather sleeves, the big Averex wings on the back of it. And Quan's from the other end of Lynn Haven. So this is a different section of dudes down here that sling crack and stuff. And Quan just happened to be out here and was walking through. Dudes caught him in an alleyway. Tried to rob him not knowing. He ain't going for that. He ain't scared of y'all's pistols. He ain't scared of them guns y'all got pointed at him. And that cost him his life. They ended up shooting Quan a bunch of times. The bullets destroyed the jacket. So he lost his life for nothing. But anyway, rest in peace, Quan. Rest in peace, homeboy. I'm thinking about you. Let's get into today's story. If you've ever been locked up, let's say 3 months or more, you've heard those guys argue from behind the door. And most times, unless the one guy persists, don't a lot happen. Now, there are times where two dudes that are really about that will get to arguing. But most times, a gangster's not going to argue from behind the door. There's been a lot of times where dudes tried to run their mouth while we were locked in our cells. And I tell them, I'm not going to do this from behind the door. Once the door swings, you swing. When you're behind that door and you're blah, 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 yelling back and forth for whatever reason, A, you just alerted everybody in the building to what's going on. B, you got to back that up. So if you're not about that, don't do that. And C, you never know who you're dealing with. We had a dude in the hole, little Mexican guy. I've been in the hole maybe 4 months at this point, on ice. Just backdown investigation, a bunch of charges, waiting the outcome of my institutional charges. Institutional charge being not a charge that you could catch in the streets, but one of the penitentiaries laws that they have their own rule books for. We get a Spanish dude back there named Shorty. Shorty comes in. He doesn't speak English. When I mean he doesn't speak English, he knows words. It's like every word he knows is like a curse word or a derogatory mark or some word to put somebody down, right? And at first we don't hear, Shorty making no noise. We come to find out Shorty's allergic to beans. And they will bean you to death in prison. It's a meal you're guaranteed to eat so much that you'll never want to eat beans again. It's cheap, cost effective, and disgusting. Shorty's allergic to beans. So on bean day, Shorty will get baked chicken or hot dogs. And I remember that because they would show up to his door and they would, they'd say, hey, he's allergic to beans. He gets, special diet. Dudes, oh shit, he got hot dogs. Like, or he got chicken. You'd always hear the dude in the cell next to him say something about it. Well, one day there's a mix-up. They get to Shorty's cell, hand Shorty a bean tray, and Shorty says, no frijoles, no frijoles, pollo, saying, no beans, chicken, no beans, chicken, telling them, I can't eat beans, you're supposed to give me chicken. God don't know what the hell he's saying. Black guy pushing the cart down the hallway, don't know what the hell he's saying. Neither one of them knows what pollo or frijoles is. They give the tray to the guy in the cell next to him. He gobbles it up. What? You just gave me a chicken tray? Man, don't nobody give a shit about Shorty. You know what I mean? He can starve over there. I'm eating chicken up in the hole. The whole time, Shorty's banging on the door. No frijoles, no frijoles. And he's saying a whole, but he's cussing everybody out in Spanish, right? Shorty takes it to a place you shouldn't take it to. A place that if you're going to take it there, you better be ready. Especially in a place like prison, where out here on the East Coast, the prisons are almost always, I would say always, predominantly black. It's not a secret. There's nothing racist in saying that. Those are the facts. Yes, I said it. The prisons and the jails out here are predominantly black. There are more black men incarcerated in the state of Virginia than anything else. Shorty gets on the door and starts making monkey noises. It says, monkey, monkey, monkey. Kicking the door, antagonizing the guy in the cell next to him. Everybody else in the hole, we can't see Shorty. There's a wall in front of us like a partition. It's about 6 foot tall. And on the other side of that, there's cells. So we can't see across from us. Shorty's across from me. So I can only hear. I can't see. I'm standing at the door. And dude's telling me, hey, I think dude's calling you a monkey. He's monkey, monkey, monkey. Dude's, laughing. Everybody's laughing. Like, oh, the Mexican dude done lost his mind. That don't get the reaction he's looking for. So he goes further with it. Starts dropping the N-bomb. Y'all know the N-bomb. Saying it, screaming it out the door, screaming it at this guy in the cell next to him. Okay. The hole, there's maybe at the time, I think there was me and another white guy that was in the hole, and he's the only Spanish guy in the hole. Everybody else is black. So now when he starts screaming this N-word, it was funny when you was trying to make the little monkey noises. We was taking you as being comical. But when he started doing that, The laughing stopped. When nobody laughing no more. Dude started telling him, hey, yo, if we see you outside that cell, we'll go punch you in your fucking face. We'll beat your ass. Beat your ass, Shorty. That's what you're going to get. You're going to see. It's a lot of dudes telling him, because dudes are taking offense to what he's saying. You got some of the old school dudes that have seen it all, heard it all, been in the penitentiary since it was really racist. They just really ain't saying nothing, like, look, charging it up to dudes ignorant. But you got some other dudes that ain't, they're not going for that. What did he call you? What is he saying? And he's putting an S on the end of it. So he's speaking to everybody. You already know this is going to end bad. All I'm thinking is if anybody ever gets out the cell at the same time as Shorty, which is very uncommon, it's going to be a bad day for Shorty. Shorty's back there for gunning. For y'all that don't know what gunning is, let me go ahead and tell y'all about gunning. Gunning is when you can be anywhere. You can be in your cell, you can be in the shower, you can be standing beside the payphone, you can be sitting at a table in the middle of the pod, and you're staring at a female officer with her knowing or without her knowing, and you are pleasuring yourself. A lot of that usually takes place in the shower or from the cell door where dudes looking out. I was never a gunner, to each their own. The shit was just, it was weird to me. Like, I was doing things in the street, so I had no desire to do nothing like that. Just every time I'd hear it, it never really got normal to me. It always sounded weird. Shorty was a chronic gunner. Guards would come back through there, and I remember this big black one told him one time, you better put that little sumbitch away before I slam it in the chuck hole slot. And they had this little flap on the cell door that would fold down so they could put your tray. She folds the flap down, and there Shorty is going at it. She tells him, I'll slam that little shit. If it was big enough, I'd slam it in the tray hole slot, right? And he goes back. Now, weeks have passed, and Shorty is still, anytime, everybody hates Shorty. Let's get that clear. Shorty ain't got no friends, doesn't speak much English, and the only English he does know is to curse people out or to disrespect them. Shorty's he's like not right in the head or something. He's not coming up off this N-word and these monkey noises and monkey sounds and what he's calling people. He's consistently doing it. Gets 30 days in the hole. Gets let out the hole, gets sent back to population. Months and months and months later, down the line, I get let out the hole and I go to 7 building. Everything is what it should be. I'm back in population, got a new cellmate, trying to get my stuff from property, my canteen, my personal property and all this. For me, life is good. The pods flip. And when I mean they flip nonstop. Like I've told y'all, if you're in one pod a year from now, you're lucky if there are 10 people, 20 people in that same pod out of 86 men that were there last year. Gang business is constantly getting guys locked up and taken up out of there. Overdoses, stabbings, institutional charges, all these things constantly have the pod rotating to where new guys are coming in and the guys who are in there are going to the hole, going to other institutions, going to other buildings, right? We get a whole group of new guys one day, and it's probably about 6-7 guys that come in. All of them got their bags. They get their cell assignments, meaning they figure out where they're going to be, who their cellmate is going to be. And as I'm watching everybody come in, I see this little short Mexican. I'd never seen Shorty prior to this. I knew his real name, but I just knew everybody called him Shorty, right? Because that's what they be saying. Shorty, I'm going to beat your ass when we get out the cell, right? He goes ahead, gets in his cell, meets his cellmate, links up with a couple Spanish dudes in there. And off the rip, these dudes don't really rock with Shorty. He's a whole different type of, and when I say Spanish, that's how they classify dudes. Like, don't matter if you're white, Irish, Italian, you're white. You know what I mean? If you're black, you're black. If you speak any type of Spanish, they're going to say he's Spanish. Gets with the other Spanish dudes, and they're not rocking with Shorty like that, man. Shorty comes around, and they meal up together, but they more or less, he's like a little redheaded stepchild, like, and he's always giggling and laughing, and everything's funny, right? So we get locked behind the door one day, and Shorty gets put in a cell with another Spanish dude. The guards put him in a cell, moved him to a cell with another Spanish dude. I noticed this dude don't even really rock with Shorty. Well, we go on our annual lockdown, our shakedown, and we're all back in our cells. 86 men locked in 43 cells. They're not coming out for a better part of 7 days. We know this. They're coming through with the men in black, and they're tearing the prison up looking for weapons, looking for cell phones, looking for contraband. You got too many shirts, they're taking them. You're only allowed to have 3 pairs of socks. You got 4, they're taking them. Pornographic pictures, they're taking them. You got something for property that's got somebody else's name on it, TV, a fan, beard trimmers, you name it, they're taking it. We get behind this door, and somebody throws something out of their cell that they know they can't have. I think it was a pair of beard trimmers or something like that. It was wrapped up in a commissary bag. They throw it out. Shorty takes his fishing line, throws it out in the pod, and your fishing line is a bunch of bed sheets ripped up into strips, tied into knots, and you can hook something on the end of it. And I've thrown these things, 50, 60 feet. Fishing, it's a sport in itself, man. It's actually fun to do. But Shorty throws his line out and grabs his bag. The dude up in another cell is throwing out the cell. He's got something in there they want to get caught with. Shorty pulls it over, pulls it up to the door, pulls it through the little window opening, and it's got what belongs to dude. Dude yells down to him and tells him, hey, homeboy, if you're going to keep that, you got to pay for that. Otherwise, throw my shit back out in the pod. Just because I threw it out there don't mean you can have it. It means I ain't trying to get caught with it. You know what I mean? If I was going to try to sell it, I would have sold it. But you can't. You need to put that back where I had it at, man. Don't be, you know what I mean? That ain't your shit. Don't touch it. So I'm guessing Shorty's, cellmate knows enough English to tell him what this guy said. What dude's telling him. Hey, put his shit back. Hey, he threw it out there. It don't matter if he threw it out there. It ain't yours. Put it back. A lot of times they'll come in and they'll shake down the cell, and the stuff laying out there, if it looks like cloth or fabric or something, they won't mess with it. So if you throw it, there's a good chance you might come out. It could still be there. When everything gets swept up, whoever's out there sweeping can bring it back to you. Shorty gets on the door, and this is when I realized it was Shorty. Shorty gets on the door and starts, talking in Spanish, screaming out the door, dude. And dude is telling him, look, homeboy, I don't know what the fuck you saying. I mean, what you trying to say right now, but I know your cellmate understands English, so I know you know what I said. You still ain't throwing the shit back out. Either you're going to pay for it or throw the shit back out in the pod. You're not keeping my stuff, man. I'd rather them take it than just give it to you. Shorty starts his shit, making the monkey noises. He's shaking the door, making all these noises, calling dude a monkey. Don't take long. Dude ain't having it. Dude's telling him, I'm punching your face in the door, but you think the monkey noise and shit, that shit's funny? You don't speak no English, you don't speak no English, but you know how to cuss people out in English. You know how to disrespect somebody in English. Well, I'm going to disrespect your ass when the door comes open. I thought Shorty was just stupid. Once he did the monkey noises, I knew, dude, that's the same dude from the hole. I said, there ain't no way with 86 of us in here, he's going to start doing what he was doing in the hole. No way. And here they're going to eat him alive. You got dudes in here with knives right now that are going to make it through shakedown because they got good hiding spots that will kill his ass behind these noises he's making, right? And these N-words that he's starting to use. Shorty goes straight in just like the hole. Screaming the N-word, over and over with an S on the end. I don't know if he didn't realize that was not singular. He had made that plural, and that regardless of whether it was singular or plural, that's not a word that needs to ever come out your mouth in your lifetime. Especially if you have the least numbers and are in a place like this. You are going to lose terribly. You have just lost your whole entire rabbit ass mind. Dude's telling him, bro, when this door comes open, I'm coming down, I'm gonna knock all your teeth out your mouth, man. I'm gonna kill you when this door opens, man. I don't know who you think you are. And he's calling Shorty all type of, calling him a bean, all these different racial slurs. Him and dude are going back and forth, right? This is like day number 3 of us being locked down. 4th, 5th day rolls around, random time, Shorty just goes to the door and starts making these monkey noises, rattling the door, screaming all the stuff in Spanish like shit is sweet. They come in, they shake everybody down. Shorty gets through with whatever it was that dude threw out. Shorty still got it because they didn't come out of his cell with it. I stood at my door watching. You ain't got nothing else to do but stand at the door and watch. A, it tells you how close they are to you, and B, you get to see how serious the shakedown is, which officers are doing a thorough job, which set of officers you don't want to get. And I see they don't really come out of Shorty's cell with nothing. I mean, they come out with like some towels and little stuff he ain't supposed to have. They get on down, they shake me down. So that means now that this whole pod has been shaken down, most likely tomorrow we're going to come off a lock, right? I'm thinking, all right, now's the time. Shorty's going to get on the door and he's going to start apologizing. He's going to, have his cellmate go to the door and say, hey, he ain't all there in the head, man. He said he's sorry. He don't want no problems. Nope. Shorty don't say nothing. Following day, breakfast rolls around. I'm standing at my door like, please pop this door. Let me out the cell so I can go to chow hall and eat. Standing there waiting for the day room lights to come on. Waiting for them to clear account. Here they come in with that dumbass tray cart. And tray cart has got all our styrofoam trays. That's what they feed us in, the styrofoam trays while we're locked in the cells, right? And they pass out breakfast trays. I said, man, another day of lockdown. This is tired of being in the cell. It's hot. It's summertime. We ain't had no showers. Like, commissary's running low. Ain't got no coffee. Tired of being in this cell. I had finished my breakfast up. Watch a little bit of Maury Povich that morning on TV. I go back to sleep. What else I got to do? Turn my little fan on, my little Cool Operator Junior. That's what they sell. Turn my little fan on, crack the screen on the window. I go back to sleep, then I start hearing cell doors pop. I said, oh shit, they let us out. Come out the cell. So of course I get up, slide my shower shoes on. I want to see what's going to happen with the Shorty situation. Shorty comes out the cell. It's headed over there to the hot pot. Going to get hot water. I look down at dude, dude he got to arguing with, and dude is in his cell putting his boots on. Shorty's got shower shoes on like shit is sweet. I do not believe, I know dudes had to have told him the severity of what he was saying, but I don't think dude truly understands or understood the severity of what he had been saying out of his mouth to so many people. Not only in the whole, but now in general population, where all that shit you're doing behind the door is going to get you touched. Dude gets his boots laced up. Shorty standing there at the hot pot, putting his hot water into his, instant coffee. Takes his spoon, starts stirring, and I see dude walking. Shorty turns around, sits the cup down, puts his hands up. And of all things to do, I thought he was going to, sorry, something. He goes, ooh, 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 and starts making the monkey noises. Dude drugged Shorty's ass, man. Dude beat Shorty all across the front of the pod. We hadn't been out a hot 90 seconds. The doors had just opened. And he's got Shorty up beside with us, a trash can in the control booth, holding him by his shirt. Telling him, call it, say that again. Say it again. Call me that again. Make that monkey noise now. Now Shorty's all messed up. He's moaning, groaning, crying, making these pleas for help, screaming in Spanish for the other Spanish dudes to come help him. They're not coming to help him. They'll stand behind you if what you're doing represents them in the right way. But when you get to doing something like that, you created pretty much, for anybody that stands with you, a war. Your ass is by yourself. Guards banging. Bang, 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 bang. Get off of him. Get off of him. Comes over intercom. Let him go. Let him go. He's got Shorty's shirt twisted a knot. And Shorty's on his back like a little child trying to kick upwards and trying to throw little punches. And dude is just with everything he's got. Boom. Say it again. Boom. Say it again. Boom. Say it again. Lockdown. Back in the cell we go. Guards come running in. Dude has smashed Shorty to the point that Shorty's just a little bloody rag doll laying in the corner. Not doing much moving. Face all busted up. Blood splattered on the wall. Blood on the floor. Blood all over the front of the shirt. Dude that he was messing with was really about that life. Dude that he was messing with had a name for himself in the penitentiary for throwing hands and putting hands on dudes. Shorty didn't have a snowball's chance in hell. They came in, locked the bigger dude up, picked Shorty up once he fully regained consciousness, led him out the pod with him dripping blood all the way out the door. And just like that, Shorty was gone. You're not always going to stand behind that door like he did in the hole and talk shit. Some people have too much pride and stupidity to know when to shut up or when to apologize. With Shorty was just a whole entire moron. Not a piece of a moron. He was a whole entire moron. And he got everything he was looking for and then some. He's lucky he just got that, because had one of them dudes in the hole got a hold of him, most of those dudes were back there for doing violent things. They'd have killed Shorty's ass. There's a lesson to be learned from today's video. And that is, you're not always just going to be able to run your mouth and think this shit's sweet. There are repercussions for the things that come out your mouth. I know in society, it's different. Dudes will get on the phone and say things to you, and then when y'all bump in face to face, they don't have the same energy. Dudes will get on the internet, jump on their grandmama's computer, or their stepdaddy's tablet, or the phone that their mom pays the bill on, and start typing in little messages to you, trolling you. But if they saw you in public, they try to shake your hand and they lose that energy. In these jails and these penitentiaries, you're going to be held accountable for what comes out your mouth. You like to run your mouth to somebody, they're going to find out how tough you really are. And I'm sure there are some dudes in the comment sections that are really about that life. But for the majority of them, they're just cell gangsters, cell warriors, talking from the cell because they know they're safe. They're only doing this because they know you can't get to them. Watch what you say out your mouth. Watch who you threaten. Watch promises you make. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Stand behind the things you say. You might end up with somebody standing over top of you. Watch your mouth. Anyways, these jails, institutions, detention centers, they're all just crazy world inside of this already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do, man. Salute.